Hello everyone, so welcome to the What's New in Primo and Primo VE for 2021 for the first quarter. We are so happy to have 2020 behind us and ahead through 2021. And those are the highlights for the session today. Today in our session, we'll show you how we implemented the NERS for show loading indication before the Alma get it and view it. I will demo and explain what is the challenge and what you can do with that. We also are going to introduce you with a new feature. The new feature is the recent search suggestion. I will show and share with you a demo. What is it about? As part of this feature of this recent search showing you the ability to get back to your previous searches, we also to do some persistent to the search history. So this is also a new capability that your user, especially signed in user, can enjoy. The search history are now can persistent and not only remain for the current session. More, I will share with you an improvement that we did to the My Favorites, a few improvement there, so we'll show and demo that. Something that is raised in the Primo list is a customer request to have the ability to control and translate some of the labels for linkings that are coming from CDI, so we are providing this capability as well. And of course, I will also share what's new with the Primo VE. Okay, so before we start, as always, we are putting the timeline for the release. So Primo February release, starting the rollout on the sandbox in the next Sunday, January 24. I just want to mention that in 2021, we are syncing the release of Primo with Primo VE when they are met, the quarterly ones. So as you can see here, also the Primo VE February release are coming on the January 24. Just for you to note. For cost, Primo customer will get multi-tenant production will get released February 7, and other customers will rollout will be after that. And for local customer, there is the February 21. And as for Primo VE, in this quarterly, we are covering January release, February release, and March release. So I'll cover what's new for all of those releases. Okay, so let's start. So what we are showing here is the ability to show the user the indication that the Alma mashup is being loaded when users are opening the Primo full display. Until the get it and the view it is being returned. So far, there was no indication that something happened, that's loading. And now, as a request and also coming from the idea, we are adding the diamonds. Now, so the reason that we didn't do it so far is because in Primo only, not relevant for VE, because in Primo VE, we already have those diamonds appear. In Primo, the view it and the get it are actually iframe that embedded into a Primo full display. And a challenge of having an iframe is that we don't have any indication that the iframe content is ready. So we didn't know how to mark to the diamonds to disappear. So this is as we always do with other diamonds in the system. So this is why it was not so trivial to do. So now we also saw customer did some customization, and based on this nurse request, we are now, the solution is to provide a background image that is always run behind the scene, but it's a background image of those diamonds, okay? And when the iframe is being loaded, it covers those diamonds. But if someone does an inspect, they are just back then behind the scene. So the disadvantage on that is that if in other diamonds in the system the color and the site styling is being inherited, now the diamonds will remain black unless you choose to customize it, and the customization will be to replace the background image, okay? And override this class. So those are the instructions, and I just want to share the demo to share with you that. And so I just try a little bit technically to explain why it wasn't so far. And now that we have it, you can choose. You can see here the diamonds. While I'm searching, the diamonds were getting the color of the this site styling. And here, while I'm opening, until the get it is being loaded, you have those black diamonds. So you can choose to customize it or leave it as is. Okay, I just want to remain or leave it as is. So this is now user will have the indication that something is being loaded. So we won't close the full display and we'll wait to see this information. Okay, next. Next is a really nice features. We call it the recent searches suggestion. And with this feature, we are now actually setting the expectation of our today's learner while they are visiting other sites. So if you are visiting other sites, other sites like Google, you are being offered to get back to your previous search if you tend to repeat your searches. So here, if I started typing recent, and I see that I've been offered with this icon of this recent, with this icon of the recent, I've been offered to go to get back to my previous search, which is this recent search per scope. And what I would like to mention here is that we are now offering, we will now have a queue of those search history, the top 100 search history, and we will offer only one suggestion that match to the terms that the user start type, and this match is the one that are relevant to the what I start type and the most like the most recent one. So besides that we are offering the search term, we are also we are also lead the users also to the search and the scope that this search was applied on in order to give a good experience. So if I'm searching the default, I will remain to that, or if I'm searching articles only, I will remain to that scope. I will do a demo and it will be very clear. This feature is available in Primo in the February release and will be available for Primo VE in the May release. And just before I'm doing the demo, I just want to mention and repeat, as I said, we are only showing one suggestion. Note it when the box of the autocomplete are being opened, we are offering the term with all kind of scopes, and also autocomplete itself have its own suggestion based on title. So for the recent search, we only choose to have one suggestion, and it will be the most relevant to what I've already start type. And they said we will remain the search term with the scope. If the previous search was trigger and filters and facet were added to it, it's not part of these features. We are only get backing to the search term with no filter. If we user want to repeat to the filters, it can do that either by going into the search history or by saving search to the save query. Our mechanism is to offer the recent search terms and lead it to the right scope. Guest users can enjoy these features while they are remaining in the current session. As I said, signed in user can enjoy, and recent search can be offered even from searches that they performed days ago, because we are now persisting and storing the search history. This feature is enabled out of the box. Okay, and if you want to disable that, there is a checkbox in the back office which calls recent search. It's not the same checkbox of the autocomplete. You can choose not to have, but you can choose to have this recent search. So here I'm now signed in, okay, and I'm start typing for history. So this is the search that I've already done when I when I demo the navigation for you. And I can also now start typing. I can go into everything, and then I can also share with you that I can also search for magic and search for magics in the articles only. Okay. And search for winter, for instance. Going into another scope like the everything. Okay. And now if I want to search again for magic, you can see now that I've been offered here to repeat to my previous search, and this will lead us to my magic under the scope of the article. So this is, of course, this is the recent searches for the signed in users that we're relying on the search histories that now are being persisted. And you can see that I have this search history, and I can, if I search for tomorrow, will be more search history that are stored for me here. Okay, so so this is an example of the recent searches, and now I would like to talk more about the new features that signed-in user can enjoy about persisting of and storing the search history now only for signed-in user. So as I mentioned previously, the search history was only per session. Now we are storing the top 100. And of course, the feature that we did, the recent search suggestion, is relying on this queue. What does this give us? We can now stand in the regulation of the GDPR on privacy, so user can control and choose to delete their search history. They can delete a single one that they are a search that they don't want to be offered in the recent search. They can have the ability to go into the search history and delete that. And just so this is something that I want you to know, that if you are being asked whether I can now go whether I now don't want to be offered by Magic, so I can choose to delete this search. As you can see, I can delete every search that I don't want to be, clicking on here. I also want to share with you that part of the changes that we did while persisting the search history is we used to display the date here with hours and minutes, and now while persisting we aligned it only per day. And another thing that I share is that if I choose to go into this like vaccine development search that I trigger here, and if I click here on the pin icon, that means that I'm moving this search from search history into the saved searches. And while I'm doing that, so if I'm clicking here, okay, the vaccine development, was it moved here to the save searches? Just a second, I may search it twice. So I can choose, so if like vaccine to all, let's just, if I pin this one, yeah, so the vaccine to all, okay, I moved it. It's been moved to the save searches, as you can see here, and also the vaccine development. But if I search again, so it's been extracted from the queue. If I repeat my search, it will be back again into the queue. But just want you to know that while moving, making a search, saving it into the save searches, it won't be part of the recent searches because it was extracted from this queue. Because in save searches, we have other capability to go back in our previous searches and trigger alerts and all kind of things. So those are two capabilities that we are exposing now, as I said, in Primo February release for Primo V my release. Okay, now I want to share more. Improvement that we did to the my favorite. One improvement is coming from the idea based on experience from customers that claiming that unfortunately users deleted their my favorites and accidentally. We requesting us to add a prompt to ask the user whether they really want to unpin. So now we are adding that. So once a user in my favorite clicks on the unpin, he will get this notification here asking him, do you like to remove this item? You can choose to do no or I to remove this item. So it can be for a single one. And also here for a bulk of records, I can choose to trigger this unpin, and then I will be asked whether I really want to remove this and click on remove or not to confirm. Those changes are coming in Primo and Primo VE in February release. So this is one change we did to the My Favorites. Other changes we did to the My Favorites is we improve the way where users are going into My Favorites and updating or adding labels. The page used to be refreshed and then user lost their scope, their focus. If I had in page number 2, and I will demo that, if I've been in page number 2 and used to update my favorite, let's go into my favorite. Okay, so here I have 20 items in my favorites and we are only loading the top 10. If I'm loading more, okay, and now I'm in record number 17. When I added the label, the whole page were been refreshed, and then I was back to only page 1 with the top 10 and required me to load more results again. Now, if I add a label, this like water supplies, I'm adding this label, I remaining in the same focus, so we're not annoying anymore the users. And of course, you can see that now we have 3 records tagged into the label of this water supply. Okay, so this is one change. And another change that we did is once we are choosing to delete record, the page also will be refreshed, but I won't be needed to trigger again on the load. So just, I'm not sure that, okay, so here I'm adding this, remove this item. I'm confirming to that I'm removing this, okay, remove it. Okay, and back into the page. I don't have to click again to load more results. Oops. Okay, so I don't have to click once again to go back into the focus. I will remain in page number 2. Okay, so this was about my favorites. More. As I said, we got Primo list a request to be able to control on the label, to be able to control on those labels coming from CDI. CDI tend to send us links, those links to resource, what we called, and the label that used to be there is either view text in collection or like access content in with the specific provider. And what we did is just deleted the underscore, and those labels will not be translated. Now, we ask for CDI team to add this label, this $F tag, which is actually the label. We used to have only dollar here, as you can see here, the access content in and the name of the provider. And now we ask to separate it, so we'll know which will be the label that can be translated and can be translated or changed, and we separated from the provider name. So now you can find the label in the code table and control. Of course, the provider name will remain as is. So you can enjoy this improvement to the links visibility in both Primo VE and Primo February release as well. Okay, so we are introducing 2 new labels and you can adjust them accordingly. Okay, more update that I want to share with you before going into the Primo VE updates is um, last June, we've started accessibility project with DECU. DECU is an external company which we really enjoyed and think that their input were very critical and good for the discovery for Primo. And we got them a report, and we in the recent sprints, the recent releases, we applied many changes. You can see the list of all of the issues that were resolved. And a few days ago, we got the new VPAT, which is complied with the WCAG 2.1. We are about to publish it really soon. So we are going to publish this week or next week this new VPAT. It will be available in the Knowledge Center. And we also are working to publish, in addition to that, if the VPAT is mentioned like partially support and there is an exception, we are also going to publish when this issue is going to be resolved. And so we are, in addition to that, we will publish a roadmap, and this will be available for you. I hope you will find this improvement in the accessibility to the sites very nice to have. And you can, of course, if you are conducting any reports yourself, you can also check here to see what were resolved and also check for the roadmap. So this is one good news that I wanted to share with you. Another thing that I wanted to share with you is that we are this week we've published to the Primo list and also put in the CNC the announcement of now Primo discontinued certificate Internet Explorer, following the announcement of Microsoft that with March they will change the default browser to be Edge and not Internet Explorer. Following this announcement, we are now saying that we will stop tests. Starting with we will stop CERT and certified Primo with the IE. It doesn't mean it will stop work on Internet Explorer, but we just want to request you to engage with your IT and do all of the adjustment accordingly. So we will follow with the standard that now Microsoft are putting. So this is one announcement. Another thing that I want to share with you, if you are a local Primo customer, we just want you to be aware that now Primo, the Primo package, the Primo is being installed with JDK 11. The meaning of is the application memory with JDK 11. The consumption of the memory was increased in about 10%. So our recommendation is for you to check the memory consumption and do adjustment accordingly. This is something that we are doing in our cloud for all of the customers that are running. If you need some kind of recommendation, you can open and submit a case, and our cloud can give you their tips. Okay, more that I want to share. So we have this GoVE. GoVE is a self-switch process. So if you are Primo Alma customer and you'd like to try the Primo VE, there is a Go VE button, and there is here a clip that can do this introduction. There are following steps and a lot of documentation and webinar that we are conducting to assist this self-switch process. I'd like to share that we started that back then in November or December, and we already have 6 live institutions that use this Go VE self-switch process, and they are live now. And we have 43 institutions that already started the process. Wanted to share with you also that we are working with early access consortia, okay, with 24 institutions, and so we are getting feedback and working. And starting of March, the consortia can start also the process and try this. In addition to that, we've published to the Primo list, with the collaboration with the Primo working group, we send a survey just to feel the field, to feel the community trend, to understand whether some of you are planned to go on and try this GoV timeline, or even understand what will be the barrier not to go, please, this survey is available until the end of January, and your feedback is really will help us understand, and also will help us understand why not going into that direction. Please give us your input. Okay. So now we are switching to see what's new for Primo VE. I hope that you are still with me. So we are talking about, as I said, the January, February, and March release, and I'll try to highlight. Of course, there are more. I try to highlight some of the features. So we are going to have a dedicated slide for the improved summary holding display. Okay, so now you can see the summary holding just right immediate on the location, and you don't have to drill down into the location items in order to see it. I will show a dedicated slide. Another thing that we've shared is the ability for you to define rules to suppress records that are coming from external data source, to suppress those records from being grouped Ferber or dedupe. So you have the ability to define based on the name of the data source if those records will be part of the Ferber or the dedupe. Another feature that we want to share, it's more consortia related, and I will share a dedicated slide for that, is the ability to determine whether to show the resource sharing button or to hide it, based on a central list of locations. So if you have rare collections that are on specific location, you can hide the resource sharing button and save the user a workflow that was at the a dead end eventually. Okay. More enhancement that we did for the custom scopes, also relevant for consortia. So one is the custom scope for other institutions' location. So so far you could have defined a scope for institutions and for institution libraries, and we got a request that it's also important to drill down into the location. So you have the ability to do that as well. And another option to custom a cert scope is if you are on consortia and you have one institution that is loading an external data source, and you want another institution, institution B, for instance, to search on the same external data source that was loaded on institution A, you now have the ability to define other institution external data source and give the name of those data source as well. So this option is available as well. Another thing that we are heading is the show get it from other institution in addition to the view it. I will share a dedicated slide. We understand that even though we are sharing with user and online services through the view online, customer wants the user also to choose whether they want to have a physical locations available from them, even if they have online services. So there is an option to have them both. More that I want to share is if we have a creator links in the full display in Primo, and those creators, once we are clicking on them, they are leading to search by this creator name. They are also leading to search by this creator name, and we have also included there a facet of the creator name. So now we are providing a configuration to exclude the search with facet. So you can choose whether this creator link will lead to search with a facet creator or without a facet creator, based on this, whether if you are using some configuration here. So this is another flexibility that you have to define on those creator links. Another thing that are coming in March is a more option to show relations in the full display. So now we are enhancing the relations of series and also enhancing to include the field 830 field. So now you can also point from the kid to the parents on this relation. And now what we are going to add is that you can see when you open the series, you can see all of the contained titles from the parent as well. So this is an additional feature that we are adding. Now, hopefully, and I said hopefully because this is really a hard work and we also need some kind of collaboration from customer. We are also working to better handle the collection discovery index triggering. We got few cases from customer complaining that whether if the collection is being suppressed, the items Primo VE still show relation to that. If I'm adding titles to collection, not necessarily we will show that. So I just want to say that our development team will work hard to try to solve, identify when are the cases that are their indexing are not being triggered, and I think that we will work more closely because some of the cases it's hard to reproduce, but this is something that we have a task for that in order to better handle that. Also, in March release, we are going to release the did you mean improvement to the did you mean. The meaning of that we are going to show less irrelevant results, show more better results. I mean, we improve the phrases. We make the statistics of the phrases that are within the titles to be more significant and offered in the more right way. So this is something that you are going to be see with March release. I just want to mention that with the January release until February, with January until February, we have also this semi-annual indexing that happens. So you can also gradually will see improvement. And I think even before March, you will be able to see this improvement to the DD mean. It's pending of this semi-annual indexing to be completed as well. Okay. So I just give here the brief of what is coming on all of those 3 months of release, and let's do the highlights of those. Coming from the idea, your request to have the summary holding here on the location. So far before that, we have only the summary only display on what we call this location item screen. So you had to click in order to see them. Now we are presenting them on the location brief, as you can see here. I just want to make sure that this is for us is a more performance to drill down into the item level in order to get this information, and this is why if you have more than 10 locations, it won't be visible. We are only doing it for the for the 10 locations. So this is something that you need to know. As I mentioned, for consortia, there is an option to do a resource sharing request button here, and customer wanted to improve the workflow. They wanted to avoid and prevent patrons from requesting items that they know in advance that they won't get it because those items are not being cannot be boring, because those items could be rare collections that are not part of this resource sharing. And what we did in order to be able to prevent that, we decided to have a list, a mapping table. We call it a resource sharing restriction rules, where you can add there the location that you know that the item from those locations cannot be part of this resource sharing. So for instance, if I'm now adding, if I see that this book is like a rare one and is coming from the American University Library from this location, And I can go ahead and define that this location is one that are not part of the game of this resource sharing. And if I define it also in a network zone in the centrally institution list, institution location list that is centrally managed, if I recognize that this record is part of the one of the location is part of that, I won't be able to. I won't share. I won't share. I won't show the user the resource sharing request. As you can see here, once I add it to the restriction rule, the resource sharing is not being seen. Okay, so this is one thing. Another thing that we got requests from the customers are that in many cases they want to share with the user more options. For instance, use case like we do share with the user the view online, but from some reasons link can be broken or proxy or some kind of failure or there is an access denied in this service. We just want the user to eventually get what he wants. So in addition to the view online, customer wanted to have the option to show the user also the physical version of this record. So what we are showing is an additional to the view online, we will share also get it from other institution as well. So what we did, if you are checking both options in the back office, in the administration, we will be able to see get it with the view online from others, and also the opposite, view online with the get it from others. So you can apply and adjust it according to your needs. Okay, so I think that I shared so far what I wanted to share with you, and now I want to share with you what is coming next. I also want to remind you that on February 10, we have also a roadmap webinar where you can see all of the highlights of the next week of 2021. And here is a brief of what is coming in the second quarter. So just where to register to the roadmap in 2021, and also here what is coming. So we have this nurse to improve the search with hyphens. What we plan to do here is for a closed list of phrases, for instance, chat room or by law or a notebook or others, we are going to retrieve the results that are not only like chat hyphens and room, but also when results that are bringing that the words are connected together with no space. So far, our index, our search engines retrieving this option, the chat hyphen room and chat with space room, and we are going to enhance and do the tricks in order to retrieve it also as if it's connected, as if it's one word. So this is one enhancement coming from the nurse. Another enhancement, I think that the community was waiting for that and we are down along the years we're afraid in terms of performance to provide this the ability to increase the number of results per page. So to what's coming next in the next quarter, what we are working is to provide a user an option to increase the number to either 10, 25, or 50. But in order not to harm the performance of the page, we are going to change the behavior of the load more results to replace it with pagination. The load more results, what they are doing, the behavior is that we are concatenating more results to the end, and whilst adding more and more results, the performance of the page is degraded. So in order to avoid that, we are now going to give more results that to bulk it into pages. So if you want to see the results after 50, you will have to click on the second page. So this is something that we are working in order to as a balance from performance and more items on page. Another improvement is to fix and improve the link to Legato. So if reading list is now being in draft mode, we won't show those reading lists as a link until the reading list is finally published and ready to be viewed. This is one improvement across Primo and Legato. And more Primo VE is we're going to support the database search. So it's going to be based on campus. So if you are Activate database and as you said, this database is available for a group, a specific campus, we are going to reflect that also in Primo VE as well. Another nest that we are going to add is the ability to index the $505 add it to the. And as I shared, we also in Primo VE, we are going to have this recent searches suggestion available as well. So I think I cover what I wanted to share, and have a nice day or evening.